welcome to A New View. We are Restored Ministries. I am Michelle Ballum. I have my lovely team with me. Kim Weingart, Stephanie Wannick is back.
Yay.
We've missed you.
I've missed you girls.
And we just are so glad that you've joined us for A New View. We hope that you are really encouraged by what we bring you each and every week. We have 3 episodes every week that air on KBN. And today we're going to talk about some tools for success. You know,
That's
it
right.
is the new year. We're only 10 days in. Tools for success. And this first episode is going to be Goal Setting 101.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Good stuff. A lot of people set goals. So what is a goal?
What is a goal? A goal is the object of a person's ambition or effort, the aim or desired result, the destination of a journey.
We're back to that word journey. We were talking about how in our first, probably several shows, we talked so much about our journey and
Yeah.
the show being a journey and all that. And setting goals is a journey.
Right.
It is part, if you're going to set goals, you want to think of them, you know, for the year. But what I'm learning and what I've learned over the past probably 2 years as I've studied this kind of stuff too, because I love this kind of stuff, is it's a good idea to set your goals for the year, but to kind of reevaluate them in 3-month increments, or, you know, every 3 months, go back to those goals, which ideally you're going to go back to them throughout the year other times than that. But if you have to rewrite them and kind of reevaluate, because hopefully you've met some of them, hopefully you're on good progress towards some of them, and hopefully you even realize that some of them just are not of value for you, and it's time to reevaluate. One of the things, as I read some information about this, there's a few people that I like to really follow. And I'm just going to go ahead and give you their names now because I was going to do this later. But I really like to follow Michael Hyatt. Have you guys ever heard of him?
I don't think
His
so.
last name's Hyatt, Hyatt. He's a former publisher and CEO. And now he runs his own blog and business. And he's really big into entrepreneurship, but also into helping people have their best life. And how do they do that with time management and setting goals and different things like that. And he's been married for over 30 years and has 5 daughters. And I just love his story, which is why I like to follow him. And another person is Chalene Johnson, who will refer to a lot of his teaching, and she's amazing. And she teaches very similarly.
Because a couple years ago, you sent me that stuff, and I did do her.
Yeah.
her
You gave that to
goals,
me,
and
too.
it
Yeah,
was-
she had a 30-day, was it her push goal
I think
teaching?
it was push goal, yes.
And it was free, and it taught you. So she teaches on a concept with goal setting, but she has something called a push goal. And we've talked briefly about that. And I love it, but it confuses me just a smidge. And I've really had to follow her for quite some time to kind of get her system. But she loves Michael Hyatt. But both of them offer a lot of free online teaching, articles, different things that can help you figure out the best way to set goals for yourself. And today, our goal and desire and aim is to kind of give you some easier tips for doing this for yourself at home. So first of all, when we all sat down together, one of the things I think that's most important, and you're not going to see everybody tell you to do this when you set your goals, is to ask God, what would he desire for you for 2018? A lot of us are talking about what is our word for 2018. I think that is so smart, to sit down and ask God, do you have a word for me for 2018? Or do you have a word for me right now that can kind of encapsulate maybe where I'm at?
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of different people doing that, and I love hearing different people talk about their word. But I would say the first thing that you're doing when you go to set your goals is asking God. Get some pen and paper. We have different things that we like to write our goals in, like get a pen and paper that you're going to hold on to, or get a journal that you're going to hold on to, or start in your planner. We're going to talk about planners maybe a tiny bit in this show, but more in the next show. Michelle's got some exciting stuff with
The
that.
Matthew 5:33.
Yes.
What is that verse?
Seek first the kingdom of God, and
Right.
everything else will be added to you.
So I think that's great how you start out saying that we really need to, maybe that's a first step that a lot of us miss, because a lot of us are going off, this is what I desire, this is what I want my goals to be, but really those may not be the goals that God has for you this year. So if we're really seeking first the kingdom of God, then he'll add all those things that what we need to do. So I love that, is really inviting him in and saying, what is some goals that I need to set? Because Lisa had talked about last week that they set goals, a personal goal, a spiritual goal, and a financial goal.
Right.
Her and her kids and her husband, and he they go, I guess, review those things. So that's a great start. But some people, 3 may even be seem like a
Yeah,
a
a
daunting
lot.
task.
Yeah.
Let's start with one, but I love how you said let's first seek God in telling
and
us
asking
what will
him,
that be. Yeah.
because the other part of that is the Lord loves you,
Right.
and the word tells us that he wants to give you the desires of your heart.
Right.
But if we're not seeking him, we're not going to hear what those desires are, because honestly, some of the stuff we may want is probably not the best for us.
Right.
And he knows that.
Right.
So it's kind of going in and trusting him. Okay, you're going to tell me, what you think I need to do for this year, but I can trust you that you're also going to give me some of the desires of my little heart. So I'd say, oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Alignment. I was just
Alignment,
thinking alignment.
yes,
I
I
mean,
love
that's
that word.
kind of like how we get into alignment with him, is because we may start out with this is what I want. So I'm saying, but he changes our heart in the middle of it, and really it gets us into alignment.
Yeah. Well, and we're co-creators with
Right.
Christ. Okay,
Exactly.
we are co-creators. We have free will, but we're co-creators with him. And so we don't just sit and wait
Right.
all the time for some of this stuff to happen, or God, what do I do? We are actively pursuing. And that's kind of
Right.
what goals are, actively, you're actively pursuing. But first step, I'd say asking him, Lord, what do you desire of me? Okay, have your pen and paper. There's
Right.
research that says if you write things down in regards to your goals, or even with journaling or something that you want to change, or anything like that, you increase your achievement of that by 42% simply by writing. Michael Hyatt
good.
believes that it's a part of you're starting the creative process when you do that. I don't know about you, but that encourages me just right off. Okay, how hard is it to get a pen and paper and write down, let's say, the desires of your heart, or write down these goals? And different people will tell you, different people that teach this will say, well, you should write 10 goals for the year. I've done that. It's overwhelming for me personally. But a key number, what I've been researching, is between 5 and 7 at a time, or even 3 or 1. But you want to challenge yourself. You want to have a few on there that this is something that's going to I'm going to have to step up.
And it'll be because it'll be meaningful when you get there.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So writing down your goals increases them by 42%. So write your goals down, have them on a sheet or in a journal that you will refer back to, preferably like once a week. I remember I followed one thing that was having me look at it every day, which was, I'm doing that with the promises of God right now, but I don't feel like I need to do that with my goals necessarily. But you're going to write them out, and there's a way to write them out. You're going to tell us that. Right?
Yeah.
You want to do that?
I'm actually going to
stop
share the SMART method. I mean, many people have heard of the SMART method. The SMART method, it originated back in 1981. It first appeared on the scene in the November issue of the Management Review. It was a paper, and it was by a George T. Doran. And it was a smart way to write down your management goals and things like that. And so it's from Wikipedia, it's kind of evolved. It says that it was a mnemonic acronym. And so SMART, and so you've seen it, and I've actually printed off, you've seen this probably going around, the little SMART method, what it is. And so the acronym, the S for the SMART method, is specific, but there are other people out there that choose, instead of specific, they choose strategic as the S. And then second is measurable. You want your goals to be measurable. How will I know when it is accomplished? And some people don't use measurable. Actually, the 1 Minute Manager adopted this method. And I know years ago I did the 1 Minute Manager and all that in the corporate world. And they do their M as motivating. What is a motivating goal? So again, to recap, S is for specific or strategic. What do I want to accomplish? M is measurable or motivating. How will I know when it's accomplished? The A is achievable, and that's how can the goal be accomplished? But a lot of people have changed the achievable to attainable, action-oriented, ambitious, or aligned. And then the relevant is, does this seem worthwhile? And some of the people have changed the relevant over the years to realistic, reasonable, or results-based. And then the T in the SMART method is time-bound. When can I accomplish this goal? And they've actually changed the time-bound to either be trackable, timely, time-sensitive, or time frame.
Okay.
And so this has
good.
been around, for a while, and it's really an easy way. I know when I used to be a real big goal setter for the year, and I think that was kind of like management, and you would set your, professional goals, and they would tell you, these are our goals for your department or whatever you're doing. But the SMART method, that's really good for us if we can it's a really easy way. It's just, how do we ask ourselves, how are these? And this is really, like you said, you can't keep it all in your head.
Right.
And a lot of people say, how do you know that? It's all right here. Well, that's fine and dandy, but like you said, you've got to put pen to paper.
Yeah.
You've got to put pen to paper. You've got to ask yourself these questions. What do I want to accomplish? How will I know when that gets accomplished? How can it be accomplished? Does it seem worthwhile? When can I accomplish it? So we need to ask ourselves those questions. So we're going to share this little image up on our Facebook page, just so that you know. But it is a great SMART method. It's just it's been around, like I said, since 1981, and it's not only for management goals or businesses. It's a great personal tool method.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if we were to put these, so I'm going to hold this for a second. If we were to actually put these into action in writing a goal. I'm going to give you an example. So let's say I have a goal. My goal is to lose weight. Is that specific enough? I don't believe it's.
No.
Okay. I want to lose weight. How much weight?
Right.
How much time do I want to give myself? Okay. So measurable. So let's say I want to lose 15 pounds. Well, can that be accomplished? Well, I believe so. Is it a realistic goal? Yes. If I said I wanted to lose 120 pounds, that's probably not very smart for me in particular, but I like the question that it asks about being relevant.
Right.
And I look at this as when you go to write your goals down, you have to really ask yourself, is this goal relevant to where I am in my life right now?
Right.
Is it, if I have to think of where I am right now I have kids that are not super small, but they're smaller, they need more time from me.
Right.
I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom for a reason, because of our family and what I've chosen. So if I want to go and get a job, if that's a goal for me right now, I have to set that goal with the relevance of what particular situation I'm in right now. If I need to be home by 3 o'clock during the week, I need to take that into account when I go set my goal for what job I'm going to get. So you have to think about, is it relevant and important to the season that you're in, which is why you go back and evaluate these every 3 months, because things change.
They do.
Right.
What we desire changes, what people need from us in our family or in our jobs changes. So we have to change these. So if I want to lose 15 pounds so time bound, when do I want to accomplish this goal? Well, I need to set the date down. And this is where I think a lot of us get a little discouraged. We're writing this down and we're thinking, what if I don't do it? Or what if somebody sees my goal and thinks it's silly? Oh, you know what? Who cares? Because you know what? You're worth having a goal for.
Right.
And so keep it in your personal journal. And this is what you're doing when you start the creative process, and when you've already invited God in, you are not doing it by yourself.
Right.
And He is going to tell us different steps of the way of, oh, remember that goal you have? Let's try this for that. I believe He's going to speak to us that way.
Right.
And He's going to give us direction.
Those are tools, because so many of us say, go back to resolutions. Resolutions can be very broad, but they're not getting specific. They're not toning into this SMART method and things. So 15 pounds is, that's more specific. It's more measurable, but relevant or realistic is another R. There is, of course 15 pounds is achievable, but is it realistic or relevant? Of course, but you have to, again, the last one, time bound. I can't lose 15 pounds in a month.
Right.
Some people can,
Right.
it's doesn't really stick. But give yourself some time and say the time bound. Can I lose 5 pounds a month?
Yeah.
Sure, that's really doable.
Yeah.
And give yourself a little bit of grace. I know that's how I really look at it, like, oh gosh, I look at the total number you have to lose, but don't break it down in little pieces. And I don't know where my daughter and I got this saying from, but we always say when things seem too hard, we'll look at each other and say, how do you tackle an elephant? One bite at a time.
There you go.
I don't know where we got that saying from, but she'll be like, Mom, how do you tackle it? One bite at a time. So just,
And there's Shalene Johnson is one person who talks about where you reverse engineer a goal. When it's bigger, let's say we're just going to use weight because I brought that one up. Let's say I need to lose 50 pounds. yeah, that's not going to happen in, a month.
Right.
And along that journey, I may get very discouraged.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get my pad of paper and write smaller, measurable,
Yes.
take a bite out of them type goals, and say for the next, in a month, I'm going to try to lose 8 pounds. Okay. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to map it in my calendar and reverse engineer to where I know for this month I'm losing 8. So the next month I lose 8. To where you can see it on paper and you're able to look and you've gotten to your ultimate goal weight or your ultimate time frame, but you've reverse engineered how you're breaking it down. This doesn't have to be that hard, but it's a matter of, you know what, guys, we're worth it. And we're worth having these different goals, not just us, but how these are going to affect our family and our quality of life, our peace of mind, all of that. If you want some different things to change in 2018, some of it absolutely does have to be on us. We have to take the action, but we're inviting God in to help us. And then we're also we're going to talk about this in another segment, getting some accountability or different things. But
so I think in reverse engineering, thinking I'm envisioning this mountain, you're standing there, your goal is this mountain, and you're like, how do I even? But we need to change the way we think about a goal, and a goal is something to work toward.
Right.
So we're headed there. It's like traffic in Houston. I'm going here. How am I going to get there? These are all my stops. Same thing with the goal. Those are our steps. Those are our bites.
Yes.
But the biggest thing for me is, especially, and I kind of want to talk to the people who maybe are sitting at home waiting for God to show them something. Pick a goal, any goal. Ask God about it, but pick one and do something toward it.
Yes.
Because having a goal gives you a sense of purpose. And
Yes.
I promise having something to work toward will help with your anxiety of things. Well, in some ways. It will help with being depressed. It will help with just your general self-worth. But best-selling author Gretchen Rubin, The Happiness Project, Better Than Before, all about habits and things like that. She has said, we are not very different from other people, but those differences are very important. And we talk, especially this time of year, about resolutions. Everybody's like, oh, lose weight, go to the gym, this, and that. It's not going to look like everyone else. And it doesn't matter if somebody else's is 5 pounds a month, 15 pounds a month, or whatever. It's yours, and it's okay. Whatever it is, it's okay.
Absolutely. And that asks you to take ownership of it, and that's good. And I heard you say it is important. The word action keeps coming to mind when I recently had a conversation with my husband, and we've been together for years, like over 10 years, well more than that. But he told me a story about how he reached this one really big goal, and I had never heard this story before. And I sat there and thought, babe, why haven't you told me this before? Why haven't we shared this with our kids? And just one of the things he said that's been really big for him is taking action. And I know that sounds so silly, guys, but a lot of the times as believers, sometimes we're waiting. And there is purpose in the waiting. God has a season and a purpose and all that, but he also asks us to step out. And stepping out is action. Yes. So when we go to write these goals, we can't just sit and expect them to happen. Right. We know that.
But we can't possess what you're unwilling to pursue. We talked about that last week.
That's
we cannot possess what we're not willing to pursue. So we have to pursue. I'm thinking of the Bible verse. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's in Habakkuk, but it's talking about, write the vision down. I wish I would have looked that up, because as we were talking about this, I keep thinking of that thing, because God asks us, write the vision down. So again, God's saying you must write it down. I can give you those things, or if you have a vision for how you would like to see, or something that you want to possess, in order to pursue it, you've got to write that vision down. Right. You've got to write that goal down. You've got to do either the SMART method or action steps to achieve that.
Right, and those will be revealed to you as you do your goals. There's also this step of figuring out, well, what is that going to look like? What is that going to entail? What do I have to do to see these things happen? So we talked about tackling them in 3-month increments. Keeping your goals handy is kind of just what I wrote down. Having them in a place where you can look at them once a week. I know it doesn't sound silly to me now, because I'm like, oh, duh, I love that. Like that, of course, you write something down and then forget about it.
Be a little bit daunting. But some people have to look at it every day. Some people are
that is
different.
daunting. I've tried.
Well, and my best example of that is Ken just got his FSA, and that's his final exam that he had to take to be a fellow in the Society of Actuaries. Well, there are a bunch of other things he had to do before he could do that.
Yeah.
So I literally wrote that list and I taped it inside of his bathroom cabinet. So every day when he'd open it, he would see it.
Yeah.
And now that it's said and done, he thanked me for that.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
wonderful.
That's good. Yeah, because some people do have to revisit it every
Yeah,
day.
like
I
a
mean, I have
visual.
certain things that I do visit every day, kind of like your daily
I'm all like the
declarations
bathroom.
and
I'm
things like
kidding.
that. But I used to be like that. Lisa Turkhurst, I think, was one that used to say, write, the verses on, with dry erase on your mirror.
Yeah.
And thing, and I used to really do
Well,
that.
see, right now I feel like I'm in a season of looking at God's promises daily, but I don't feel like I need to look at my goals daily. I need to know what God's telling me right now for myself. But adding an action, okay, so we put on here, adding an action to your daily to-do list that moves you toward your goals. This is very similar to the Eat That Frog principle by Brian Tracy. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that. He is from the old school. I mean, he's still around and still kicking it, but he is amazing. And the Eat That Frog principle is, let's say you have 3 tasks written for the day. Okay, whatever, they're on here. 3 tasks, right? One of those tasks, at least one of them is the one that you are like, man, I don't want to do that. And you don't want to do it because it's the biggest one, it's the hardest one, but it's probably going to have probably some of the most importance. He says you move that biggest, most important task, if it's just one for the day, instead of being in your list of 3, it goes to the top of your list. And it's called the Eat That Frog principle, and it's supposed to give you momentum and confidence and focus and doing that one action. So if you get nothing else done for that one for the day in your task list, you've done that one thing. Well, how does that relate to your goals? Well, having a goal, having that one goal on there that is of ultimate importance. Maybe you but maybe you put your energy towards that one first, but that's going to take, that's a whole other teaching, but just knowing, what is most important for me to do. So having on your task list daily, which is something different from your goals, something on there that will move you towards your goals. And this does require you to sit down, ladies and guys, whoever's watching, and think about, what do I really want to get? What do I really want to have or experience or accomplish in 2018?
And a lot of people, I think, when they hear do something every day toward your goal, there's like, well, not every goal you can do something toward every day, depending what it is. But you can read something toward it, something in the, on that subject matter and learn something.
And I'm thinking back to the, losing weight, losing 15 pounds. Okay, well, maybe your Eat the Frog that day is going to the grocery store, and you don't really care to go and do the grocery store because you have to be, write it all down, prepared, and then it's, getting it all, then putting it all up, and prepping, what needs to be prepped, and getting things so that you have a game plan. So that's the I'm thinking of in terms of weight. That's the Eat the Frog. And
for the
then,
day,
Eat Your Frog for the day is getting prepared and going to the store. And that's the thing, because when we fail to plan, we plan to fail.
Yes, and that's exactly the process for this stuff too.
That's really it. So then I was thinking, then how can we look at what's the next thing that maybe would be to be the action for that goal? Well, let's park a little farther, I think, and get in a few more steps.
Yeah.
That's, our goal, to lose the weight or get exercise or things like that. Also making sure that I'm not skipping meals. Be well fueled before you go to the grocery store, so you're not out
I do that. So you don't buy everything in there. Yes. The last thing I was going to say, and then we should talk about the pitfalls, right? That's a good one. Is Michael Hyatt says that doubt is goal toxin. I love that. So when you write your goals down, you have got to believe in yourself. I know that sounds so cliche and so cheeseball, but you do. You have to believe that, yes, while the things you're writing may stretch the heck out of you, yes, they may not all happen this year, but you know what? You have to believe that it's possible, because if you go and write this stuff down and you're like, oh, I'm probably not going to do this anyway, but oh well. Girlfriend, you've already started off with the process that is goal toxin. So asking God to help you not be so doubtful, not to be negative, because you know what I found out when I went to research some of this? A lot of people don't even set resolutions or goals anymore, because they're like, what's the point? We don't want to get there, girls.
No.
We are always wanting to be changing, transforming, new season.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
That's right.
That's what I have to tell myself. I can do all things.
Yes.
What's some pitfalls, though?
All right, 3 common pitfalls. The first one is too big. You kind of talked about making sure that you set this to a size that isn't overwhelming. We don't want to be demotivating. We don't want to do this to ourselves. And to define too big, of considerable size, extent, or intensity. And it really doesn't, I mean, it can be something that is just too intense. And that could be the word. It could be 15 pounds in the month. Whatever it is, if it's too intense, not going to happen. Right. If it's too vague, you discussed kind of making it a little bit more specific. I personally love the line, confused people aren't very aggressive. If I don't know what I'm trying to get to and how I'm going to get there, I'm going to kind of hang back, go a little slow. Right. You're driving down the highway, not sure where your exit is, you're going a little slow, you're staying off to the right, you know.
Yeah, but if you know where you're headed and you know where you want to be, you're gonna get there, you're going to go.
And maybe in your goal, you don't know where that end step is. You don't know how to get there yet, but you know how to take that first step. Go there aggressively.
Yes.
Get there.
That's good.
One step at a time. Let's see. Oh, and I also, on the same thing, in thinking about too vague, thinking of a ladder. You're climbing the ladder. If you don't have specific rungs, it's just the posts, right? I don't know. You don't have anything to stand on if you don't have, define what that is so that you can get on it and get over it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good visual.
That was my little visual. It came to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is lacking substance. And we kind of talk like if something is relevant, if a goal is really relevant to you, and it might just be for right now or for whenever, but determination, the definition of determination is firmness of purpose. Know the why and make it a good one. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to stick to it if it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. You're worthy of goals. Make sure your goals are worthy as well.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, because you know your why. You know, why are you doing this? You know, of course, you know, to feel better, this and that. But yeah, realistic.
Yeah.
Really
we talk about
this
that
one's kind of messed up, but it's a real world example. My goal was when someone specific called me to not answer the call. And I didn't remember to keep my why handy. So when they called, I answered it recently. And I regretted it, and now I'm gonna make a note to keep remember why not to answer that call anymore.
And that's really true. That's when we were talking about boundaries months ago too. If we're not setting our boundaries and knowing the why that we set the boundaries, a lot of times when things do come, you know, they come or people push those things, we will forget the why and we'll go ahead and we'll not stick to those firm boundaries. And I think that's kind of just like goals. If we're not knowing the why we're doing this, we're going to give up on our goals.
Yeah.
We're not going to, but if we can do the SMART method and we can break them down, we can write it out and we can give ourselves some grace to go a little slower and things, it really is good.
Yep.
I agree. The why is important. I was going to talk a little bit about the why in our next segment, and you know what? You got to keep your why handy.
Right.
Not only do you need to keep your goals handy, you'll have your why in here, you know, but you'll need some reminders on the why I'm doing it as you go along, and as you evaluate them, you know, every few months. Again, some of that why may not be enough, and it may be time to change them, but we are just going to declare over you and ourselves that we are setting goals for 2018. We're setting goals for our first 3 months, and we are going to meet those goals. There are going to be things that come up every single day to drive us towards those goals, and we're going to know when we're off track, and we are going to set ourselves up with accountability girls.
Exactly.
And so are you.
Exactly.
We're going to show you how.
So we hope you have enjoyed this first Tools for Success episode in Goal Setting 101. We hope that you are encouraged and you'll get those goals set. Have a great day.